All right, now we're live. And somebody just left. Who just left? Bisty.
That was Jeff.
He'll be back. He's going to get his dog, probably.
Yes, actually, she's out on the deck. Hold on.
I'm not holding on, Jeff. We are going. So these are the guys and assistant coach from when I was a player back in the early, late 80s, early 90s. And so I'm going to let them tell you where they are and what they're doing these days. So I'm going to start on my screen. It's the top left. It's our Canadian buddy, Alfred Magar. Go ahead, Alf.
Hi, I'm Alfred Magar. I started at Creighton in 1989 as a freshman. I graduated in 94 with a BA in psychology, and then I came back to Canada, got my degree in physical therapy, and now I own 2 clinics in just in the suburbs of Toronto. And I'm married, and I have my wife Sandra, and our actual anniversary is this coming. It's in 3 days, and we have a 9-year-old son named Lucas.
Fantastic. All right, and we'll circle back. Everybody's going to get more time. Don't worry. So I'm going down one. One on my screen is the legendary Brian Lanenkamp. He played from 91 to 95. He's still number 6 on our
90 to 94.
I was off.
Okay. Yeah, I live in the suburbs of Chicago. I've been here ever since graduation. Divorced, have 2 lovely daughters, sophomore and 8th grade. I've been working, didn't get any postgraduate degrees or anything, just went into investments, and I've been fortunate to be with the same firm for 16 years now. Did a bout with the Board of Trade for a while there in the mid to late 90s, and been in investing and just living the dream out here in freezing cold Chicago on May 8th here. But don't play much tennis anymore. Try to run and lift a little bit, but had a bad bout of plantar fasciitis in both of my heels the last few years. So it's been kind of an uphill battle with that. But good to be back and seeing everybody after all these years, and glad to be on this call.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. All right, I'm going to go to the middle screen. He looks like he's been in quarantine. I haven't seen you with this much facial hair ever, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff Beislein, he's our first Reinert Scholar Athlete Award winner. Go ahead.
Yep, it's Jeff Beislein. I started at Creighton in '89 and graduated in '93. I think I started working with Pitney Bowes. It was another company, but they got bought out by Pitney Bowes in 1994. Or I'm sorry, 2002. But I was with Pitney Bowes for 20 plus years. I left for a couple years, went back. And then in February, I recently, I announced that I was leaving the company. So right now I'm kind of in between things. So they kept me around until April to finish up some projects. But right now I'm just trying to enjoy some things, get my house put together. I moved a couple of years ago, and still here in Omaha. I get to see Tom and Jean and his family quite a bit and stuff. So pretty fortunate there. And whenever any of the tennis alums come back, I try to meet up with them. So I've seen a few of you guys lately, but I haven't seen any of you guys actually lately. Carl was probably the last one about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. I saw Brian at the Mo Valley basketball tournament about 10 years ago. Delator, I think you're the only one I haven't seen, period, since we've graduated. But anyway, this is good to see everyone, and I think this is a great exercise to keep in touch with everyone. So,
thanks, Jeff. Yeah,
yep.
Jeff and I are still cruising around to U2 concerts after all these years.
Yep, and we got TJ hooked now, don't we?
That's right. My son's a huge U2 fan now. All right, my top right, Paul, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Paul had a whopping 90 wins, and he played from, 89 to 93, right?
That's right. Graduated in 93, departed from Omaha. I have not been back since since graduation. I have not been back. I've almost came back with work once, but I haven't been back since. And from there, I taught tennis when I graduated for several months in Chicago area. I was enjoying that, sleeping on my sister's couch in Chicago. And then I got a job with AT&T which led to an opportunity in Saudi Arabia. And amazingly, I made the decision to move to Saudi Arabia for 2 years and lost touch with everybody that I had known back then. Of course, the internet and email wasn't quite as prevalent. I hate to date us like that, but so I was over there for a couple of years doing like a marketing role. Then I moved back, went to graduate school. That led me to Miami, to Florida. And from got my MBA, worked for Walt Disney World at the Grand Floridian Beach Resort as a financial manager of that resort, and did that for a couple of years. Then I eventually got into the healthcare industry, and I worked for Johnson & Johnson in South Florida for about 7 years, and then another 6 years up in New Jersey with Johnson & Johnson in a field called health economics. So I became what you would call a health economist, believe it or not. And I went back to school for that. I went back to Kellogg for a leadership certification. I went back to Thomas Jefferson University, got my certification in public health. So I've been doing health economics, which has led to other opportunities. I went to another device company, and now I'm most recently here in Dallas-Fort Worth area working for a company called Alcon, which is the eye health company. And I'm now in a field, my the mother field of health economics is called market access in the healthcare industry. So I help medical technologies get into markets all around the world for this company now.
Wow, keeping real busy.
And so that's my professional stuff. And then the actually more important stuff, I have a wife I've been married to. We're about to have our 17th wedding anniversary next week. So Alf, we're very similar anniversaries. And then I have 3 children. I have a 16-year-old daughter. So anyone who can relate to that, I think there's a few of you on the call in that teen time period of life. And then I've got 2 sons, a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old. He's going to be 12 this weekend. So I have Emma, 16, John, 13, and Tyler, 12.
Fantastic. Thanks, Paul. All right, moving down. One will be Carl Monson, whose 134 wins is still number 2 on our charts. Go ahead, Carl.
All right. Well, I also played 89 to 93 with some of other these guys on the call here. And after I graduated, I actually stayed in Omaha for probably about 6 years. Well, I was in Lincoln for a little bit, but I worked at some health clubs, but then I took a job with Name Brand Clothing. Remember that, guys?
NBC.
Yeah. So I became a store manager, and that's why I moved down to Lincoln for a year or 2. And then eventually moved back to Omaha and had another store in Omaha down in, well, I don't know, Papillion or La Vista or wherever the mall is. I don't know where. Anyway, and then I eventually moved to Kansas City, lived there for 5 months, and decided the retail world was not for me. I moved back to Wisconsin and became a tennis pro at the YMCA there. Did about 4 years there, then worked with USTA Northern. I was the adult coordinator up there, so I was in charge of tournaments and all the USTA leagues in the northern section. Did that for about 2.5 years, and then went back into the tennis field and basically down in Rochester, Minnesota since then. So I've been down in Rochester for about 12 years now. I'm married. I've been married for, it will be 18 years this summer.
Oh,
so,
you beat me.
Wow, bravo.
Yeah. And not as long as Tom yet, though. Anyway, we have 5 kids. My oldest is 16, so she got her driver's license in December, and that was a treat. And then 2 sons. So he's 14 and then 13, and then I have twin daughters that are 11. So during this stay-home online learning period, it's been a nice treat. Not only the 5 kids, but my wife, who teaches at their school, teaching math. So as you can probably see in the background, I'm in my twin daughter's room right now because my son's playing the drums downstairs. A little too loud. So obviously I teach tennis, so I play tennis a little bit here and there. I struggle with some knee issues. So I'm actually in the process of trying to do some research with Mayo Clinic about stem cell, get some injections in there, see if I can get my knee fixed. And I'd rather do it research so I don't have to pay for it. So.
Nothing's changed.
That sounds like Carl at the J.
What?
That sounds like you at the Blue Jay.
The Blue Jay does not exist anymore,
I
unfortunately.
know, that's what I hear.
No.
Yep, it's gone. They closed it about, what, 2-3 years ago, didn't they, Tom?
Yeah.
What is it?
It
Did
was
they knock it down?
it's a field of grass right now.
Yeah, they
Wow.
kept losing their liquor license.
You want to make $1 million? Can put a Chipotle there. Every kid
Yeah.
can be there within seconds. All right. So, were you done, Carl?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
9 more kids to go or not?
No, I think we're done. I'll tempt my wife once in a while and say, "How about one more?"
You don't need to go there. All right, we'll go down to our assistant coach back then. It's Chris Hoover. He went on to be the head women's coach at Illinois State and dominated the Missouri Valley Conference off and on for many years. Should be in the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame, I would assume, in the near future. Chris Hoover, go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Tom. Hey, guys. First of all, Tom, thanks for doing this, and great to see all you guys. Yeah, I was at Creighton, I think, was it 91, 92, 92, 93, and 93, 94. And then I left in that summer for Illinois State, and then I went to Illinois State for 21 years. I'm in Dallas now, North Dallas. I'm still teaching tennis. I teach at a country club up in McKinney, and a little bit over here at the Addison, the community center over there. Kind of part-time mostly. So cool about everybody's anniversary. Sue and I have our 34th anniversary on Sunday.
Wow, nice.
And yeah, it's great reminiscing about all this time, because I remember my daughter was so small and she was just crazy for Carl. She turns, holy crap, guys, get ready. She turns 30 in September. So
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what we're doing. My wife's with State Farm. I'm kind of semi-retired, retired from the college coaching thing. Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice, and it's so cool to hear about how everybody's doing, and what a great idea, Tom. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And thanks for the kind words too.
Oh, you bet. It's been fun getting in touch with people that I haven't seen in a long time. So the next thing that I do is I share the screen. And I've got some pictures. Unfortunately, I screwed up with Paul's pictures, although I've got them on my phone. I can hold them up here in a minute.
I can send you them again real time if you want.
Well, I had them. They're on my phone. I just don't know how to get them on here right now.
Whoa.
While we're in the middle of this.
Oh my God.
Look at all that hair.
I remember that one.
So who's not on this call right now? Rick is not here. This is Barry
Where is-
McKinley. Barney. This
That was
is one of the world's
pre-Langenkamp.
best looking guys right here.
Yeah, I'm not in that one.
Jeff Bisty, he's on the call. Carl's on the call. Alf's on the call. Nudo was going. He had to work. He's a doctor in Chicago. Delatorre is on the call. Joe Philippi, I tried to get in touch with him. I haven't been able to yet. Mike
that would've
McBurney
been-
was on the call a couple days ago.
That
Haven't
would have
talked-
been 89. That would have been 89, right?
Yeah,
Fall
this
of
is
89,
spring
spring
of
of
90.
90.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our freshman year.
So maybe you were right. I was 91 but I graduated in 94, so I'm not sure how that.
You started fall
You
of
were a
90,
sophomore
though.
when I was a sophomore when you were a freshman, so you entered
Yeah.
in 90, I think, Brian.
Yeah.
90, yeah.
So this is Rusty.
Yep.
Kamara, he was on the call the other day, and Rick Faust, he's still here in Omaha, teaching a lot of tennis. This must have been the front cover. Same group, including the girls, though. Some of them we've already had, and some of them we'll have on calls here coming up.
Oh, you didn't get that picture.
Well, I had this one on the other Zoom with the older guys.
Oh, I have that same picture.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
you did send that one.
Is that from
McBurney's not making.
Fitzgerald's?
That looks like it's from Hawaii, isn't it?
Is it Hawaii?
Gotta be.
We weren't sure if it's Hawaii or Florida.
Here's the
Probably
one I
Florida.
had. Yeah, you can't see it.
Was that Rusty's house?
No, it's probably a restaurant
I think it was a restaurant after a match, maybe.
or a rain out.
Could be. Yeah, we had a lot
That
of
was
rain
a,
out
that,
there.
that Hawaii trip was a great trip. That was a really great trip.
That was amazing. Yep.
Remember, we played a lot of hacky sack in the parking garage while it rained.
It just seemed like we had one match a day, and then everything else was like recreational fun, and I had plenty of money to squander. I felt like we had a good, like a above average per diem that trip or something. That we
Ed kept giving us $100 for lemonade. It was like every other day he kept giving us $100 for, or as part of the per diem, I think, you know, and everything.
100.
Well, no, it was maybe
like
that
$100.
much, Jeff.
No, it was like towards the end of the trip he gave us all extra $100.
I was gonna say I never got $100.
Yep,
Remember,
so-
Jeff, I
Per
think
day.
Creighton's still under investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a freshman.
It was like the first time I ever had a $100 bill. I couldn't believe it. So
Where's Ed? Is Ed getting on?
Probably
this?
for the week.
Where's Peg?
Peg is in Wyoming now.
Yeah.
I've been reaching out to her. I'm trying to get her on one of these too. Ed was on the one with McBurney and Rusty and those guys the other day. Roger Earl, I haven't seen him. I hear he's still kicking people's butts in Phoenix, probably. The torture chamber.
Is Ed at Doane?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's the head coach at Doane now.
Do they have the internet and computers there yet?
If they do, he's not real great at using them. But
I have that one too. Yeah, I sent that to you
Yeah.
as well.
so that was after who was it? Jim Courier and Michael Chang?
Michael
Yeah.
Chang and Jim Courier played each other.
We were the line judges. That was a cool experience.
That was fun.
Oh, here comes a plane. Hold on, let me mute.
Oh, look at the pipes there. Wow.
Still got those pipes, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys remember any of those matches from Florida A&M?
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
I just sent a picture of Delator and I like warming up or something. And then I was just like, oh, wasn't that the one I just like yelled at the guy just because I was ticked at him, but I said something like Arriba, you know, after winning the point or something, just hitting an overhead.
I just remember there was a moment where it's like Ed was like, you get around, tell everybody to just get their stuff. Let's get to the
Yeah,
van.
let's get out of here.
we need to just get out of here.
I remember Delator being a bit of an instigator.
I think that's that picture. That picture reminded me of that. So he had the sleeves, the guns out.
To the point where we were thinking, let's just leave Paul here and the rest of us will get out alive.
God, look, I used to have hair.
That's what Carl sent.
Oh, there's the charming couple. Yeah.
God, Tom, look how skinny you were.
That was after that luau in Hawaii.
Oh,
That luau in Hawaii was legendary.
Yep.
I'm holding the picture of that. I had that picture with the lady with the coconut bikini.
Yeah. I remember that.
Remember Pakalama, or whatever his name was, Pakalamo, the guy who scurried up the tree?
yeah.
A long time ago, man.
That's a
my God.
long time ago.
Well, you still got the picture.
Yeah.
We're
Brian,
always
didn't
into
you,
those poses, those fake poses where we're like,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Brian, didn't you get that T-shirt in like a flea market?
Yeah, I think it was like 10 cents.
and the
Yep.
Bob Marley one too. You always wore that Bob Marley one. You probably still have that Bob Marley one.
I think my daughter stole it from me.
I think he's giving everyone the circle of death in that picture.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 That was a dumb game.
Oh,
That was a great. That was a
dumb
great
game.
game.
It
That was
was
a great
funny.
game.
Wow,
That's
look
because you
at
kept
that.
winning at it, Paul.
Look at that luau was fun.
That was.
Yeah, it was more than just tennis. There was a lot of just fun touristy things we did too. It was really good.
Must have been the same night. No, Carl, you're all dressed up. Where were you going?
I think
Starbucks
wasn't this getting ready to leave like at the airport?
Flying home, probably.
Yeah.
That was dressed up for me, I guess. I wore a fancy belt with my ripped up jeans.
That's a good one.
A lot of these from the Hawaii.
I love my turtleneck on that one in Hawaii.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even notice that till you said that.
You guys hear some chirping in the background. That's my bird. She's gets quite chatty after a while, so I'm going to cover her up real quick.
That was fun that day at the Sandy Beach, I think Rusty called it.
Yeah.
Sandy's Beach, yep.
Tell you what, I guess we owe a lot of this. That trip was Rusty, right? We wouldn't have gone there if it wasn't for Rusty. Plus, we worked all those hours at the basketball game selling programs.
Yep. I think we each had to pay $200 too, if I remember correctly, to go on this trip.
It was just whatever it was well worth it. That was a phenomenal trip. I mean, we were there a long time too. I mean, it wasn't like a few days. We were there like 10 days or something,
Yep,
right?
it was 10 days. It was 10 days, including flights.
I remember I didn't want to go back to Creighton. I wanted to stay in Hawaii. I contemplated just bumming around in Hawaii for the rest of my life while I was there. I think I may have had that conversation with one of you. Like, we should just stay here. We were going back to midterms or something, right?
Terre Haute.
This is where I'd rather be.
Does it still exist, Tom?
That's just sad, Tom.
I don't think it exists. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know.
It doesn't.
That place was amazing.
Lily, you stole like 500 things from that hotel.
The buffet was the best ever.
Everything had Larry Bird on it. It was pretty amazing.
That's a wicked picture.
Wow, where is that?
Tree.
Got to be Hawaii.
I think that's Hawaii.
It was probably that North Shore place. It was so windy, it looks like.
Yeah.
They
Somebody
those
had an
radio-
eye when they chose that place, that spot.
There's my dog. Come here, Villa.
There's landing camp in Larry.
Yeah, you were only a freshman this year, that year, Brian.
Yeah, those are the old blue and mint green warm-up suits.
Classic.
I remember that those were always hand-me-downs, right? Like you, each year you handed them back, and then
Right.
yeah,
Ronald Reagan's home, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm pretty sure.
Boyhood home.
Dixon, right?
It's in Illinois.
Home of Ed Hubbs and Ronald Reagan.
That was pretty good timing, Brian, for you joining Creighton the year we go to Hawaii.
Yeah, freshman year. That was good.
You must have been, you were so happy to be there, man. I remember that. You were like,
That was
this is awesome.
I've not been back since, so that's my memory of Hawaii for now.
Wow, look at that.
wow, look at that.
Man, Venus.
Oh, and Jeffy.
I was somewhere sleeping on the floor there.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember a few times trying to describe how we used to travel, and we used to play rocks, paper, scissors to see who would get the floor and who would get the bench. Do you guys remember? I remember sleeping on the floor a few times.
Oh, I slept on the floor all the time.
Villager liked the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy
quiet
always
down there.
was in the back seat.
I think you could snuggle underneath the seats, couldn't he?
Yeah, kind of. Does anyone remember what those pictures are that were on the ceiling there in the van?
Oh my
Do we know what
gosh,
that
I
is?
didn't even notice that. I have no idea what that is.
I don't
All right.
remember them.
I don't remember.
Whatever happened to good old Randy? He's a really nice guy. I mean, he was funny too. I mean, he was a smart and funny guy.
Remember he'd always sculpt those things out of the silly putty?
Yeah,
Like
it's
the little
hilarious.
McDonald's meal.
Have you kept in touch with tabs on him at all?
Have
Tom?
not. I think at one time I had his email and he was receiving my emails, but I don't think I've heard from him in a long time.
He's just a good guy.
Yeah,
He
I'll
was
find him.
He was my first recruit. I saw
Oh, yeah?
him in the elevator when I was living in the dorms that first semester. And he had a Prince racket. And I said, you ought to try out, see what, you know.
Yeah, you lived on ninth floor in Swanson Hall, didn't you, Chris? That
Yeah,
first
for a semester there. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that.
You guys remember what this is? It was our senior year, spring break.
Graceland.
Yep, Graceland.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Wow.
That's when we had to pull over for Rick to throw up from eating all the Skittles.
Oh, I remember that. He
I made
pounded
it
a bag of
upset.
Skittles, like a big bag of Skittles in like, 2
2
minutes.
liter of Coke.
Yeah. And that was, remember when Ed used to make us sleep in the camper? You guys,
Oh,
you guys got a hotel and I got the camper?
I remember
Well,
how much you like that.
I don't remember that.
I just think I remember Ed's good morning dance.
Oh,
oh,
God.
High pants dance.
I remember getting the dance a few times.
Fortunately, that was only freshman year.
There's Jeff now.
Yep, that's my dog, Vivi. She's laying on the couch here now. She's 6.5, but that's when she was a puppy.
See, my intentions were to share the pictures people sent, but only Jeff and Paul sent them apparently of their.
Mine are all,
I forgot to include Paul.
I have a bunch of them. I just don't know where they are. They're in
yeah, me
storage.
too.
What do you
Mine
mean,
are
you
all
shared all
still
mine that I
photographs.
sent you?
I
Now, that-
miraculously found my photo album. It was like a huge score. I don't even know how, because of the recently we moved, I found it.
So this is my clan. I guess I didn't describe my people yet, but most people probably already know. This is Tom Jr., call him TJ. He's a freshman at Creighton, just finished his freshman year, I guess.
He's tall.
And obviously, Jean, and that's my daughter. She's 15. She's starting to drive a little bit. She's a freshman in high school.
Nice.
We're
Tom, how's it been going in the Big East? By the way, your family's beautiful.
Thank you. How's it been going in the Big East? We enjoy it. It's really competitive.
Yeah.
Every team is good.
Well,
and the
it was
matches
an
are
exciting year for the basketball team. I mean, it's a
Oh my
shame we
gosh.
couldn't play in the tournament.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
a bummer.
Yeah, my son went to the University of Dayton, and it was a sad
Yeah, they
year
were
this
like a
year.
number 1 seed, right?
It would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Obi Toppin got all the awards, and yeah.
Wow.
We got one more thing that we usually go through here is the some of the scorebooks.
Oh boy.
God.
I gotta see if I can enlarge this here. I only did a few. I won't go through like everything.
I got killed.
This is this is Marquette. So I put this out there because we beat Marquette 5-4. Now they're in the Big East with us. So that was, back then we had no clue.
Tell me, I
That was
remember,
always pretty
I remember you
common.
guys had a, didn't you, you guys all had good doubles runs at the, wasn't it, Carl, weren't you playing with
We got crushed on that one.
Paul?
Yeah.
I thought you played with Paul and had a good run, and Tom and Brian had a good run that year at the regionals.
Yeah, well, yeah, our senior year,
Lilly
Paul and I
carried
played
me.
together.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you did.
Let's see. This is 90. No, this is
I think
91, 92.
92.
we were talking about like Paul and I think we beat Kansas that year at the ITAs or whatever they're called now. They're or Rolex back then.
Yeah.
But
ITA.
I remember that match,
Yeah.
I think.
yeah,
Carl, you won, was that the year you won the Arthur Ashe Sportsman Award too, or was that the next year?
my senior year I won that year.
Well,
Just remember, Carl, you and I had all the craziest hand signals. I mean, we'd like hang loose and all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, there's nobody figuring that, cracking that code. There was like combinations, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, the Air Force. That was always a fun
man.
trip.
always
Oh,
got Air
man.
Force.
Lost
So
two
this
tiebreakers.
guy that I played is their coach now.
I
No way.
remember that trip.
Yeah, he beat me one year and I beat him. Looks like this is the year that I beat him. And then we
I always
won.
tell my students a story that I think I played the same guy 2 years in a row, and I had the same outcome where I was up like 5-2 in the second set after, and then I ended up losing and lost it in 3 sets.
Hey, can you go back to the Air Force one,
All right.
Tom?
Yeah.
Paul, I think we played really well this day. I still remember that because the balls were flying all over the place. But I think that was probably one of our best matches that we played together.
Yeah.
Dominated. That was back when we played 2 out of 3 for everything, regular scoring.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you couldn't move your shoulder at the end of the year.
Doubles took way longer.
That was just you, Tom.
I just remember, Tom, you always icing up after every single match you played. Like you were perpetually with ice wrapped on your shoulder. How's your shoulder doing? Actually, I meant to ask you about your health.
It's still attached to my body. I don't do a whole lot of serving and playing any tennis. But.
Monson, you had a pretty tough match that day.
Yeah, that was not fun. I'm assuming. I don't quite remember that one. I put that one behind me.
No, I was saying Monson bageled that guy.
Oh.
And
Oh, I
Dallas
forgot.
basically did the same thing. Wow.
I was the only schmuck in that one. Another Big East team, Xavier. So that we played the format that I think we should actually be trying more often. One doubles match and then 4 singles matches all played at the same time.
With Randy playing 2 positions.
Randy, these were exhibitions. He played both guys as an 8-game pro set. They didn't count. But.
Wasn't this
I
we
don't
played them at?
either.
Weren't we playing
had a
inside on the
hard
rubber
fought
or
win.
something on Indiana State or something?
Indiana State, you played at the indoor rubber stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
We could. So what date was that? Does that have a date? 4/18. I think we did that because we were playing a doubleheader.
Matt Runyon, there you go. Yep. You played Matt all the time, Carl.
Bryce Barnard, I think he's teaching up in Sioux Falls.
Munir, I remember that guy, Munir.
Yeah. Yeah, Bryce was in Rochester for a while, and then he went to Rapid City, and yeah, now he's in Sioux Falls.
And kicked my butt that day.
Munir's the guy that said, "I'm the best player here." Isn't that the guy? He's from India, right?
Added incentive to beat him.
Yeah.
That's a match that I had mono.
This
I
is
had
our
to,
breakthrough match. You had
I
mono?
remember when you had the mono.
Yeah, after that match, I had to not play for like a month.
And then you went and stayed at Doc Bevilacqua's.
Yeah, for like 3 weeks, I stayed at Doc Bevilacqua's, which was probably totally illegal per NCAA regulations. But
You're used to this quarantine stuff, huh, Brian?
That's right.
Are we still recording?
oh, sorry.
We're still recording. Now, Doc Bevilacqua passed away, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. He was a great guy. Hilarious guy.
Yeah, he was.
I still remember him.
I'm friends with Luisin on Facebook. He seems to be doing well in life.
He's in Colorado, right?
He's happy. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while. I got to get him on one of these too. That was a big win over Illinois State. That was our first win over Illinois State. Looks like Ed wrote that. And played Nebraska. There, see, I wasn't the schmuck that day.
No.
And that guy
Yeah,
was.
we need to do a.
Hey, Tom, that guy was a stud. Mueller was a stud.
Yeah, that was the biggest match, the biggest one in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was really good.
I think he made it to the Elite Eight. He's all over the Husker Tennis Center, which is unbelievable now. $20 million facility.
You guys, the great thing, I remember this team, man. You guys were such fighters and warriors. You didn't, I mean, I remember it. It was just fun because there, any given day that would happen. One of you all would pop and play a balls out match, or our doubles. Our doubles was always solid. You guys always played solid, good doubles. Yeah, no, I remember.
Except for right here. We got him in singles, Elaine can.
Yeah.
And that was back. That was back when the Valley had Tulsa and Wichita. Yeah. It was a tough league.
I would play DePaul at Air Force, so another Big East team now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Tom, what happened to who was it at DePaul? Can't remember his name. Did he retire? He was there at DePaul.
Mark Artizone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's down at Florida State, associate head coach for Florida State's women.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
Hey,
really
Tom,
well.
on another note, I enjoyed your speech in Rusty's induction into the Hall of Fame, your speech you gave there, and that's pretty cool. Yeah. And Rusty's speech as well was amusing. It was good.
I still get people telling me, well, clearly you're telling me about this, but people around here, I might not be known for anything but that for some people.
Couple minutes of glory
Yeah.
up on the stage. You did a great job.
Oh my gosh, I was scared to death. There's 600 people there. So that's why I had to start off with a joke. And if nobody laughed, I probably would have run away. You'd never see me again.
Well, since I have you all here and this is being broadcast and copied, recorded on YouTube, and others presumably are going to watch this, I just wanted to take the opportunity to apologize to everybody who I antagonized or irritated over those years. And the second thing I like to do is to express my sincere appreciation to everybody that I played tennis with, who was on the team. In all sincerity, I mean, it was a, let's face it, those are big time formative years in our life, and it couldn't have been a better group of guys to hang out with for those 4 years, and develop during those 4 years, and the foundation of really who we've all become, I think. And just from the coaches, you, Chris, and Ed Hubbs, just the discipline that they brought into our lives. I had to learn the hard way a couple times through running with cross country. That wasn't pleasant, but you learn a lot of hard lessons that way. And just learning from the upperclassmen like Rusty and even Mike McBurney and Rick, they were pretty tough on us when we were freshmen and sophomores, and would pretty much talk down to us, but in good spirit. To help form us into and becoming better tennis players and better human beings, in fact. So, sorry and thank you.
Well said. Well
Yeah.
said, Paul.
No, I Paul, if you ever get a chance to go back to Creighton, you'd be amazed. You're like, why didn't we have this equipment here now? Like, instead of like the swimming pool right next to the universal machine
We had
in the
Roger.
Kiewit Fitness Center.
Rusty.
We had Roger.
Yeah,
It's just amazing. Like, I was just like, oh man, it's almost like when I was there, I think it was 5 years ago, I took my daughter down there for a basketball game, and Tom gave us a tour of the new, what was it called, the Champion Center or something?
Yep.
Or
Championship Center's awesome.
just the workout facility and everything. Just, it's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't been back in a while, you won't recognize the place.
We need an excuse to come back. Somebody needs to get inducted in the Hall of Fame again or something. Or to have some sort of an official reunion. I'd love to play tennis with everybody again. That'd be really fun.
Well, how about the old team has to play the new team?
I don't know about Division I schools.
No. But we get a handicap. We get to start off at 4-0 per set.
There you go.
We can make a big deal out of it. Rusty could have a book signing. We can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
What about
How impressive is that? Rusty's writing of those books. I mean, great books too. I mean, very impressive.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hoover.
Does Doc Mannion still do that fundraiser for you guys?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I think this was our 27th year last year, maybe. Yeah, it's been amazing. So it's helped us a lot with scholarships. We have more scholarships now than we've ever had, and it continues to increase. So
yeah, I'll take a minute if it's okay too. Along with Paul, I'd like to say something, because I think being able to have started my career coaching at Creighton was a really unbelievable, fortunate thing for me. And I think Creighton has done a great job. And I think Tom's been fantastic at the helm of both the men's and women's programs. And I think you're fortunate, Tom, and you know this because having been around just a little bit, you have an athletic director as supportive and as successful as Bruce has been for you guys, basically since the day we all left. I think Bruce pretty much took over as athletic director about that time.
94, I think.
Yeah. And I consider those 3 of the funnest years I ever had coaching, guys. And I know you all got tired of seeing me on your court, but you're right. It helped me, and I enjoyed competing against Tom later in the Valley. It was a lot of fun. So again, kudos to Creighton and everybody out there. It was a privilege to be a part of it back
Hey,
then.
Chris, you were a good balance to Coach Hubbs, because Coach Hubbs is always kind of even keel, calm and collected. You're only as good as your worst day. And then you were like, come on, you got to go. Let's go. I mean, you're like so high energy, like you would inject. And I think to be a good tennis player, you need to have a high energy about you, whether you're showing externally or not on the court when you're playing. I mean, you got to have high energy on that court to be successful and to compete at the highest level. And you really brought out the best in people, I think, energy-wise. It's such a good compliment to Coach Hubbs.
Well, thanks. And I tell you guys, and I've coached that way my whole life. I mean, don't tell me we can't do it. Don't tell me we can't do it. Just, don't make excuses for what we don't have and what everybody else has. And I said, it's the court's the same size for everybody, guys. And I loved how we always fought. We had such good heart. Loved it.
Do you still say parties at the net there, Chris?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now I'm barking at 30 and 40-year-old women, and they're loving it. They're paying me for it,
I think the big thing was too that we were all competitive with each other, but not like in a way we hated each other, but like in a way that like we got each other better, whether it was conditioning practice, just running lines. We were just trying to see if we could finish first, or beat the timeline so we didn't have to run it again.
That was more of it for me.
Monson, I just wanted to beat Monson because he kicked my butt so bad in high school. I had to try to get to his level as a freshman and sophomore. I remember that. He killed me in high school his senior year. I was a junior.
I didn't know you guys played in high school.
Yeah, we played in some tournament, I think.
Wow.
He was Eau Claire and I was Milwaukee.
And there was a Whitefish Bay tournament that a bunch of high schools played at. Yeah. So.
I think Monson didn't have any unforced errors the whole match. I think it was like 1-1 or something like that. He killed me. It was a good match for him.
Well, I'd like to jump on the bandwagon and say thank you to all you guys. But first, I want to apologize to Carl because I don't know how many times I hit you in the back of the head with a serve in doubles. It was.
Oh, I remember
that. That's why I've got this bald spot here.
Yeah. But as
I played with him for a while too.
I can't think of how many little things have changed the way I've become because of, not the stress, but the challenges of dealing with the tennis team. And just like Carl said, playing a challenge match and still having to compete hard against one of your own teammates for a position, and then still going on a road trip and being friends and being colleagues and stuff like that. I really have to say that one of the reasons why I got into physical therapy school was because of all these little scenarios that I had to experience with you guys on road trips. Because when I applied, there's about 2,000 people and there was only 60 spots. And it was the interview that really made the difference. And as I tried to explain, just being competitive and playing sports and having to deal with loss and sacrifice and stuff like that, it really changed how I thought of stuff. And frankly, a challenge match was way more stressful than any exam or any other test I ever had to do. So I found it a really good growing experience. So thank you to all you guys. But Carl, sorry for the back of your head, by the way.
I don't know if I even remember that. I do remember that I had to hold you back one time again from going across the net because you wanted to fight this guy for calling your serve out or something.
Oh yeah, injustice, total injustice every time. Everyone's a hook. I remember that.
Hey Tom, I just wanted to say I'm very proud of your career choice, and it makes me feel, I don't know, I get a gratification knowing that the guy I played tennis with at Creighton is now the coach of Creighton. And then Gene as well. Just really, I think it's awesome. Just want to let you know that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's just so awesome. And you're doing a phenomenal job. You're doing an amazing job with those kids. I see it on Facebook. You're posting. You've even gotten into social media. You're more technical than I would have expected you to have been able to do. But
my grand assistant would laugh
that in the
that
best way possible.
So Tom, how many years is it now at the helm?
My daughter Lauren.
Oh, hey,
Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
My younger daughter. We've been on this for like.
Cool.
So Tom,
Yeah,
so Tom, how many years is it that you've been at the helm there?
this was my 23rd.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, if you listen to that last Sunday's thing, they were talking about that. Ed was 17 years and Tom's 23. That's 40 years with 2 coaches. There's not a lot of college programs that have that.
Yeah, I can tell you firsthand, guys, to have a career that long and as successful as he's done. You have done a great job, Tom. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I can see why Ed wanted to do it and why you, Hoover, did it so long. I mean, dealing with college kids can be really hard some days, but most of the time it's very gratifying. And it's just fun to see them grow, kind of as we did. I mean, I was an immature moron for a lot of my college days, as you guys all remember. But you guys all made me better, just as you were saying. I think we all loved each other. We all hated each other at times, but we all made each other better. Hopefully on the court, but we also made each other better people. Yeah, it was a special time in my life for sure.
There's something special too about Creighton.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. You froze, Hoover.
And the Catholic faith. So,
You're a little bit in and out there, Hoovy.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm about to probably die here, but I just saying something about Creighton and the Catholic faith, and it's a special bunch of kids you work with.
Definitely.
And I felt you guys were all very special guys. So
I have 2 questions for you, Tom.
All
Question
right.
number 1, do you still listen to Pink Floyd? Second question,
Oh yeah.
do you still do the can drill?
We do. Well,
Kids.
both questions are, I don't listen to Pink Floyd as much as I used to. I listen to U2 more, but I've always been a bigger U2 fan. But it's on Pink Floyd's on my Spotify. How about that?
Okay.
And can drill. Yeah, we and sometimes we still call it the can drill, Gene and I, even though we don't put a can on the court. It's the same drill. You're coming up and attacking a ball that's short. Yeah. And backpedaling, doing it all over again. We don't do it quite as much as we did. I think we did it a lot when we were in the Kiewit Center because it was so hard to have rallies in the Kiewit Center. We fed balls more.
So I assistant coach my daughter's high school team this year, and I employed the can drill. I mean, you try to, what drills are going to help here. I use a can drill, and Chris, I use the get out of your chair on the return to serve drill. Move into the ball.
hey, I'll tell you, I think you were saying something too, guys. Another thing was practicing that return to serve off that Kiewit floor.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good serve return team, and I think a lot of it was just because we played on that slippery, fast court.
Like ice.
You had to shorten up your backswing for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about the in the afternoon with the glare from the windows? Like you don't see anything.
Playing a challenge match.
Yeah.
That's when Alf would challenge me every time freshman year. It's like,
But I still lost, Carl.
well, it didn't stop you from asking me every week to play me.
And you had to say yes. That's the funny part. I think there was one time I wanted to play you, but it was after a night out when you were with your fraternity buddies. And I don't think you survived very well, but I still didn't win. So whatever it was.
But
You guys still keep in touch with your fraternity brothers at all?
no.
You're
I have
Sig-
two that I keep in touch with.
Carl, you're a Sigma Alpha. Sigma
Sigma
Alpha.
Phi. He was Sigma Phi, yeah.
No, Sigma Alpha, SAE,
I was,
and then Lange was Sigma Phi.
Yeah.
So
Hey, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna thank you guys. Well, I'll push stop on the recording, and then we'll have a little after-hour chat for those that want to stay on. Okay. Thanks, guys. So this is this is the guys that I played with, and assistant coach Chris Hoover. So this was a lot of fun. We're a family. We're still keeping in touch. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
OJ's.
Thank you, Tom.
Hey,